Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, you're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have something truly fascinating to explore, the United States of America $quarter from 1974. It's a coin that might seem simple at first glance, but as we dive deeper into its history and value, you'll be amazed at just how much this little piece of American history is worth. So, stick with us as we uncover the stories and secrets hidden within this coin. The 1974 $quarter was minted during a pivotal time in American history. The United States was in the midst of a complex political and economic landscape. Richard Nixon was still in office, but his presidency was coming to an end, with the Watergate scandal already shaking the nation. The economy was dealing with inflation and rising oil prices, yet the mint continued to produce coins like the $quarter, which would soon become a staple in the pockets of everyday Americans. This quarter, unlike many coins that have specific historical events tied to them, holds significance because it was part of a larger series of coins being produced during the mid-20th century. The designs of the quarter have evolved over the years, but the 1974 version was still part of the iconic Washington quarter series, which had been in circulation since 1932. The 1974 coin, however, is particularly special because of the condition and the rarity of certain variants. It's more than just a piece of metal, it's a reminder of the history, culture, and economic state of the United States during the 1970s. At first glance, the 1974 quarter might seem pretty standard. The obverse features the familiar bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Washington's portrait has become iconic, symbolizing the country's founding and leadership. The reverse side features the eagle, another symbol of American strength and freedom, with its wings spread wide. This design, like the obverse, has remained largely unchanged for decades, making the 1974 quarter instantly recognizable to any collector or enthusiast. However, what makes the 1974 quarter truly special lies in its production details and the subtle nuances that distinguish certain coins from others. One of the key aspects that collectors look for is the minting mark, which tells you where the coin was produced. The 1974 quarter was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and depending on the mint mark, the coin's value and rarity can vary. Philadelphia minted quarters typically don't have a mint mark, while Denver and San Francisco coins are marked with a small d and s respectively. The minting process in 1974 was also significant because it was during this time that the U.S. government was considering changes to its coinage, experimenting with different compositions and trying to find ways to curb the rising costs of minting coins. This led to the gradual transition to clad coins, composed of a core of copper and nickel rather than solid silver. The 1974 quarters are made from this clad composition, which can make identifying the coin's authenticity an important factor for collectors. As we move into the world of collecting, it's important to recognize the factors that contribute to a coin's value. Condition is key when it comes to determining a coin's worth, and the 1974 quarter is no exception. Coins that have been well preserved, free from scratches, and maintained in uncirculated or near mint condition are significantly more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. A coin that is well preserved is much rarer than one that's been passed around in daily transactions, and this rarity is what drives the demand among collectors. However, it's not just the overall condition that can drive up a coin's value. Special features or errors can make a coin even more desirable. For example, certain 1974 quarters may have subtle minting errors, such as double strikes or off-center punches. These errors happen when the coin is struck incorrectly during the minting process, and they can make a coin much more valuable, as they are unique and difficult to find. Collectors always seek out these oddities because they add an element of rarity and intrigue to their collections. The 1974 $quarter can also be an excellent example of how a coin's value can fluctuate over time. In recent years, interest in vintage coins has grown, particularly among younger generations who are discovering the value of rare and historical pieces. As interest increases, the price of certain coins can rise dramatically. While most 1974 quarters are worth only a few dollars, those in mint or uncirculated condition can fetch a much higher price. And if you happen to have a quarter with a rare minting error, you could be in for a real surprise. Now, I know you're probably wondering, just how much is the 1974 quarter worth? If you have one of these coins in exceptional condition, unblemished, carefully stored, and well maintained, you could be sitting on a potential treasure. While most 1974 quarters might only be worth a few dollars, a pristine, error-free specimen could command a significantly higher price. But here's where things get really exciting: if you happen to own a 1974 quarter with an error, or if it's in perfect, uncirculated condition, it could be worth as much as $59,000. That's right, $59,000 for a single quarter. This surprising value might be hard to believe, especially for a coin that was originally worth just 25 cents, but it's the rarity and the condition that truly drive the market for these coins. And if you happen to find one with an error, the value could be even higher, depending on the nature of the mistake. So, as you're going through your coin collections or browsing through some old change, keep your eyes peeled for the 1974 quarter. You never know, you could have a valuable treasure on your hands that could be worth a small fortune. As with any valuable coin, make sure to store it properly and have it authenticated before selling it, as condition and authenticity are crucial to getting the best price. Thank you for joining us today. If you've learned something new or just enjoyed the journey through the fascinating world of coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future discoveries. Top 2, we're diving into a coin that might not immediately stand out to the casual observer, but trust me, there's a lot more to the 1980 United States quarter dollar than meets the eye. From its historical context to its design and, of course, its collector appeal, this quarter could be worth much more than you might imagine. So, stick with us as we explore the journey of this iconic coin. To understand the significance of the 1980 quarter dollar, let's first take a step back in time. The 1980s were a transformative decade for the United States. The country was navigating its way through economic shifts, with the tail end of the 1970s inflation and the early 1980s recession still fresh in people's minds. The United States was under the leadership of President Jimmy Carter until Ronald Reagan took office in 1981, ushering in a new era of economic and political changes. Amidst this backdrop, the U.S. Mint continued to produce the beloved Washington quarter, which had been in circulation since 1932. By 1980, the quarter had become an iconic symbol of American currency, representing the nation's history, values, and the enduring legacy of its first president, George Washington. This was the same year that the Mint was preparing for new changes to coin designs and producing coins that would soon carry the unmistakable mark of the 1980s. The 1980 quarter, much like its predecessors, was part of the standard coinage series, which also included dimes, nickels, and pennies. But what makes this coin stand out in the world of collectors is its specific details, the condition it's in, and the rarity of certain varieties. The Washington quarter itself had undergone some minor design changes over the years, but by 1980, it was still the same design that had been in place since 1932, featuring George Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. On the obverse, we see the familiar bust of George Washington, his face solemn and proud. The design, created by artist John Flanagan, has become one of the most enduring images in American coinage. Washington, who led the United States to independence and served as its first president, is a fitting figure for the quarter. This iconic portrait was complemented by the inscription "Liberty" and the year of minting, 1980. On the reverse of the coin, the eagle spreads its wings, symbolizing American strength and freedom. This reverse design was also created by John Flanagan and has remained largely unchanged since the coin's introduction. The eagle is clutching an olive branch and arrows, representing peace and defense, respectively, further emphasizing the values that the coin embodies. The words "e pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," appear across the top of the reverse, reinforcing the theme of unity that has been a cornerstone of the United States since its founding. While the design might seem simple and traditional, the 1980 quarter is more than just a piece of currency, it's a snapshot of the times. The early 1980s were a period of economic turbulence for the United States, with inflation, high unemployment, and rising oil prices. Yet, amid these challenges, the quarter continued to circulate in the pockets of everyday Americans, representing a steady and familiar presence in a time of change. One of the key factors that make the 1980 quarter dollar particularly interesting to collectors is its minting history. The 1980 quarter was produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Coins minted in Philadelphia typically do not have a mint mark, while those minted in Denver carry the D mint mark, and those minted in San Francisco feature the S mint mark. These distinctions are important for collectors, as they can affect the rarity and value of the coin. Additionally, the 1980 quarter was part of a period when the U.S. Mint was still producing coins made from a copper-nickel clad composition, rather than the silver used in previous decades. This composition was more cost-effective for the mint to produce and allowed the quarter to maintain its purchasing power while also being durable enough to withstand years of circulation. As with any collectible coin, the value of the 1980 quarter is determined by several factors. The most important factor is its condition. Coins that are in excellent, uncirculated condition are always more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. An uncirculated 1980 quarter, one that has no visible wear or scratches, can be worth significantly more than a coin that has been passed through countless hands over the years. But it's not just the general condition of the coin that matters. Error coins, coins with minting mistakes, are highly sought after by collectors. These errors can range from double strikes to off-center impressions, and they can add an element of rarity that makes a coin far more valuable. While minting errors are relatively rare, they do occur from time to time, and when they do, they create a unique opportunity for collectors to own a piece of history that can't be replicated. Now, I'm sure you're wondering just how much the 1980 quarter could be worth. While most 1980 quarters in average condition are only worth their face value, 25 cents, coins in uncirculated condition, especially those with unique errors or in exceptional quality, can fetch a much higher price. If you happen to have a 1980 quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition, you might be looking at a value that could reach as high as $49,000. Yes, that's right, $49,000 for a single 1980 quarter. This value might come as a surprise, but it's the rarity and condition of certain 1980 quarters that have made them so desirable among collectors. The market for rare and high-quality coins has been steadily growing, and as collectors and investors alike continue to recognize the potential value of these coins, the price has been steadily increasing. So, if you happen to have an old collection of coins or you find a 1980 quarter in your change, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Whether it's the mint mark, the condition, or a potential minting error, you could be holding on to a valuable piece of American history that's worth far more than its original face value. Top 3, we have something truly exciting to share with you. If you're a fan of rare and valuable coins, then you're in for a real treat. We're about to explore the story behind the 1972 United States quarter dollar, a coin that has more history and intrigue than most people realize. What might seem like a simple coin at first glance is actually a fascinating piece of American history with a surprising value. Stick with us as we uncover the details of this coin, from its design to its minting history, and ultimately, its incredible worth today. Let's begin by taking a step back in time to the year 1972. The United States was living through a period of great change. The Vietnam War was winding down, and Richard Nixon was serving his second term as president. The country was facing political unrest, and tensions were high as people were questioning their government and the future of the nation. Yet, through all of this turmoil, everyday life continued. And in the pockets of millions of Americans, you would have found coins like the 1972 quarter, circulating as part of the U.S. currency. The 1972 quarter was minted during an era when the Washington quarter design, which had been in circulation since 1932, was still the standard. The quarter had undergone a few design updates in the years following its introduction, but by 1972, it featured the familiar image of George Washington on the obverse and a majestic eagle on the reverse. The design was largely unchanged, symbolizing continuity in tradition at a time when many things were in flux. On the front of the coin, we see the unmistakable profile of George Washington, America's first president. The design, created by artist John Flanagan, has remained largely unchanged since it was first introduced. The portrait of Washington stands as a symbol of the country's founding, its resilience, and its leadership. This image of Washington, etched in stunning detail, continues to be one of the most recognizable portraits in American coinage. On the reverse side of the coin, we find the eagle, an iconic symbol of American strength and freedom. With its wings spread wide, the eagle grips both an olive branch and a set of arrows, representing peace and defense. The words E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, are inscribed on the coin, emphasizing the unity of the United States despite its vast diversity. This reverse design, which was also created by Flanagan, has become emblematic of the United States and its enduring values. Now, let's talk about the minting of the 1972 quarter. The U.S. Mint produced these coins at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. For coins minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark was used, while coins from Denver and San Francisco featured the familiar D and S mint marks, respectively. These subtle differences are incredibly important to collectors, as they can greatly impact the rarity and value of the coin. At the time, the U.S. Mint had switched to using a copper-nickel clad composition for most of its coins, including the 1972 quarter. This was a significant departure from the previous use of silver, which had been phased out due to rising costs and a need for more durable materials. The new copper-nickel clad coins were cheaper to produce, yet still maintained a high level of quality. The composition of the 1972 quarter allowed it to withstand years of circulation without significant wear, which is a key factor in determining its value today. Despite the large number of 1,972 quarters that were produced, certain factors make specific examples more valuable to collectors. As with any coin, the condition is a critical factor. A 1972 quarter that has been well preserved and shows little to no wear will always be worth more than a heavily circulated coin. Coins in uncirculated or near mint condition can fetch significantly higher prices, as they are much rarer to find. A coin that has been carefully stored, free from scratches or damage, can be a true treasure in the eyes of a collector, but condition isn't the only factor that can make a 1972 quarter special. As with many other coins, there are unique features and minting errors that can significantly increase the value of a coin. A common error for the 1972 quarter is the double die, which occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear slightly doubled. These errors are highly sought after by collectors, as they are unique and hard to come by. If you happen to find a 1972 quarter with this error, it could be worth far more than the average coin. Another thing that makes the 1972 quarter valuable is its place in the history of American coinage. The Washington Quarter series, which includes the 1972 issue, is one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. It represents not just the legacy of Washington himself, but also the enduring values of the nation he helped found. Owning a 1972 quarter is like holding a piece of that history in your hands, and collectors value this connection to the past. So, you're probably wondering, just how much is a 1972 quarter worth today? While most 1972 quarters in average condition are only worth their face value, 25 cents, a well-preserved coin or one with a rare minting error can be worth significantly more. In fact, if you have a 1972 quarter that is in pristine condition or one that features a rare error, it could be worth as much as $61,000. That's right, $61,000 for a single 1972 quarter. This value might be hard to believe, but it's a testament to how the rarity, condition, and unique features of a coin can drastically increase its worth. Coins with minting errors, especially those from a year as significant as 1972, are highly coveted by collectors who are willing to pay top dollar to complete their collections. As the market for rare coins continues to grow, the value of the 1972 quarter has steadily increased, making it one of the most sought-after coins for collectors. So, if you have an old collection of coins or you come across a 1972 quarter in your change, it's worth taking a closer look. Whether it's the mint mark, the condition, or a potential error, you could be holding onto a coin that is worth much more than its original face value. A simple 25-cent piece could turn out to be a valuable treasure. Top 4, we're diving into the fascinating world of one particular coin that you might have in your collection or even come across in your pocket, the 1993 United States quarter dollar. To many, this coin might seem like just another regular quarter, but let me assure you, it has a history and value that will surprise you. So, get ready as we explore everything about the 1993 quarter dollar, from its place in American history to the design details that make it so special, and finally, the shocking price tag it can fetch today. Let's set the stage for 1993. The early 90s in America were marked by significant transitions. Bill Clinton had just taken office as the 42nd president, and the nation was entering a period of economic prosperity after overcoming the recessions of the 1980s. There was also a sense of optimism as the Cold War came to a close. People were looking forward to new beginnings, technological advancements, and a shift in the cultural landscape. The United States Mint, in keeping with this spirit of change and renewal, was still producing the traditional Washington quarter, which had been a staple in American currency since 1932. But 1993 was a particularly interesting year for this coin as it marked the beginning of a new era in American coinage design. The 1993 quarter dollar was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint was working on redesigning several of its coin series. However, the Washington quarter continued to circulate, showcasing the profile of George Washington, a design that had been in place for decades. Despite being in circulation for over 60 years, this coin still had a fresh and timeless appeal, reflecting both America's history and its aspirations for the future. It was an era of change, yet the 1993 quarter maintained a connection to the past while remaining relevant in a new world. On the obverse side of the 1993 quarter, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. This iconic image was designed by John Flanagan and has remained largely unchanged since it was introduced in 1932. The strong, resolute image of Washington, facing left, embodies the spirit of leadership and perseverance that helped guide the nation through its early years. The word liberty appears prominently above his head, while the year 1993 is inscribed at the bottom. The design exudes stability and continuity, reflecting the nation's deep respect for its founding father. Flipping the coin over to the reverse side, we see the familiar eagle design that has graced the Washington quarter for decades. The eagle, with its wings spread wide, clutches both an olive branch and a set of arrows in its talons, symbolizing peace and defense. Above the eagle, you'll find the words E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many, one, representing the unity of the United States. While this reverse design was the same as earlier quarters, it continued to symbolize the nation's enduring strength and resilience. But while the design of the 1993 quarter may seem standard to many, it was still part of a very important period in American numismatic history. During this time, the U.S. Mint was transitioning to more advanced coin production technologies, which resulted in coins with sharper, more detailed images and a more consistent finish. The 1993 quarter, like many of its counterparts from this period, was struck with incredible precision. Coins produced in this era often show crisp details and a higher quality finish compared to older coins, which were struck using less advanced methods. Minted in the standard copper-nickel clad composition, the 1993 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. This composition replaced the silver content that had been part of the coin until 1965, when the U.S. Mint switched to a more affordable, durable clad metal for its circulating coins. The quarter was struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, and coins from each of these mints are identifiable by their mint marks: no mint mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. These subtle distinctions are essential to collectors, as they can influence the rarity and value of the coin. At first glance, you might think that a 1993 quarter is just a common piece of currency, and in many ways, it is. After all, millions of these coins were produced and circulated across the country. However, what makes this coin so interesting to collectors is its relative rarity in certain conditions and its status as a piece of modern American history. The 1993 quarter, while still widely available, holds a special place in the world of numismatics because it was produced during a period of both technological advancement in coin minting and significant cultural change in the United States. One of the most important factors in determining the value of any coin is its condition. Most coins that circulated in 1993 were used regularly, and as a result, they've seen their fair share of wear and tear. However, finding a coin in near mint or uncirculated condition is always a treat for collectors. The rarer the coin in excellent condition, the higher its potential value. Coins that were carefully stored and maintained, free from scratches, dings, or discoloration, are far more desirable on the market. In addition to the overall condition, certain variations of the 1993 quarter can increase its appeal. Error coins, in particular, are highly prized among collectors. A minting error, such as a double die or misstruck coin, can make an otherwise ordinary coin into a rare and valuable piece. If you happen to come across a 1993 quarter with any unusual features or minting mistakes, it could make all the difference in its value. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the big reveal. How much can a 1993 quarter actually be worth? The standard 1993 quarters in average circulated condition are worth just face value, 25 cents. However, if you manage to find one that is in pristine, uncirculated condition, or if you happen to stumble upon one with a rare minting error, it could be worth a lot more. In fact, a single 1993 quarter, in top condition or with an error, can be worth as much as $34,000. That's right, $34,000 for a single quarter from 1993. It might sound unbelievable, but that's the reality of the rare coin market. The 1993 quarter, when in excellent condition or with a rare minting flaw, has become a highly sought-after piece among collectors. As demand continues to grow, the value of these quarters is only expected to rise. So, if you happen to find one of these coins in your collection or in your pocket change, be sure to examine it closely. You might be holding on to a small fortune. Top 5, and last quarter, we're going to take a close look at a specific coin that has garnered attention from collectors and investors alike, the 1986 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, it might seem like just another regular quarter, but trust me, there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. Stick around as we uncover its history, its design, and its surprising value in the world of numismatics. Let's start by stepping back in time to 1986, a year that was filled with both political and cultural significance in the United States. The Cold War was still a prominent issue in global politics, although tensions were starting to ease as diplomatic relations between the US and the Soviet Union improved. On the home front, the country was in the midst of the Reagan administration, and the economy was experiencing a period of growth and prosperity. Meanwhile, American culture was booming with the rise of technology, the birth of personal computing, and the introduction of groundbreaking products like the first Macintosh computer. Amidst all this, a simple yet iconic coin continued to be a staple in American currency, the Washington quarter. The 1986 quarter was part of a long tradition, with Washington's image appearing on the obverse side of the coin since 1932. But just because this coin was part of a long-standing design doesn't mean it didn't have its own unique appeal. In fact, the 1986 quarter is special in ways that make it stand out among the many quarters that have come before and after it. The Washington quarter, which has been in circulation for over 90 years, features the image of George Washington, the first President of the United States. This portrait was designed by artist John Flanagan and was introduced in 1932, the bicentennial of Washington's birth. The profile of Washington is a powerful representation of the nation's founding and leadership. It's a design that has stood the test of time, enduring decades of political changes, economic shifts, and cultural evolutions. The Washington portrait has been the symbol of American resolve, and it continues to appear on coins to this day. The 1986 quarter, like many of its predecessors, features Washington's portrait on the obverse, surrounded by the inscriptions, Liberty, above, and the year, 1986, below. What makes this particular coin interesting is not just the date but also the overall quality of the strike. The U.S. Mint had made significant improvements in the minting process by this time, resulting in coins with sharper details and more precise engravings. The 1986 quarter has a clean, well-defined appearance, which makes it a great example of the improvements made in coin production during the 1980s. Turning the coin over, we find the reverse design of the Washington quarter, which showcases a majestic eagle with its wings spread wide. The eagle, a symbol of American strength and freedom, clutches both an olive branch and a bundle of arrows in its talons, symbols of peace and defense, respectively. Above the eagle, the phrase, E pluribus unum, is inscribed, meaning, out of many, one. This phrase speaks to the unity of the United States, despite its diversity of people, regions, and ideas. It is a fitting motto for a country built on the concept of freedom and individual rights. Although the Washington quarter had been in circulation for decades, the 1986 coin holds a unique place in history. This year marked the continuation of a long tradition, but it also set the stage for future changes in U.S. coinage. By the late 1980s, the U.S. Mint was already considering new designs for many of its coins, and the 1986 quarter was one of the last to feature the traditional Washington design before the introduction of new commemorative quarters in the following years. The minting process of the 1986 quarter was highly sophisticated. It was produced at multiple mints across the country, including the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco facilities. Coins from Philadelphia did not feature a mint mark, while those produced in Denver and San Francisco were marked with the letters D and S, respectively. These mint marks are key for collectors, as they indicate where the coin was produced, and coins from certain mints can be rarer than others, depending on the quantity produced. The 1986 quarter was made from a copper-nickel clad composition, a material that replaced silver in most U.S. coins starting in 1965. This change was driven by rising silver prices and a need for more durable and cost-effective coin production materials. The 1986 quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, which is the same as most quarters minted since the transition to clad coins. This makes the 1986 quarter similar in size and weight to its predecessors, but with a more modern and durable composition. Now, let's talk about the most important part of this coin's story, the value. At first glance, a 1986 quarter might seem like just another 25-cent piece, but when you start looking at it from a collector's perspective, things start to get interesting. While most 1986 quarters in circulation are worth their face value of 25 cents, the condition of the coin is what truly matters in the numismatic world. If you find a 1986 quarter that is in pristine, uncirculated condition, it becomes much more valuable. Coins that have been well preserved, free from damage or wear, are highly sought after by collectors. The sharp details and clean surfaces of an uncirculated coin make it a true gem in the eyes of a collector. Beyond simply being well preserved, some 1986 quarters are more valuable due to the rarity of certain minting errors. These errors, such as misstrikes or double dies, can make a coin truly one of a kind. When a coin is struck incorrectly, it can result in a design flaw that sets it apart from the rest. If you happen to come across a 1986 quarter with a noticeable minting error, it could be worth far more than the standard coin. And now, for the big reveal, how much could a 1986 quarter actually be worth? If you have a well-preserved, uncirculated 1986 quarter, or one with a rare error, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $44,000. That's right, $44,000 for a single 1986 quarter. It might sound unbelievable, but the demand for rare coins with minting errors or pristine conditions has driven the market value of coins like the 1986 quarter to extraordinary heights. So, if you have any old quarters lying around, or if you come across a 1986 quarter in your change, take a moment to inspect it closely. It could be the hidden gem you've been waiting for. Who knows? You might just be holding a coin worth a small fortune. Thank you for watching and learning about the fascinating world of the 1986 United States quarter dollar. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to see more, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an exciting coin discovery. Until next time, happy collecting.